And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have returned with our next matchup of the night. We just wrapped up with a featured legend match. We just wrapped up with Dana versus Bapi. Bapi, of course, coming out on top. Now we are here to feature another legend of Polish StarCraft. We're diving into a PvZ between Pal and Snoxtar. Let's go. Now, as we dive into this, a big shout out in the chat. Thank you so much to Vatia? Basha, thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you have been enjoying the content. Hope you've been enjoying the stream. And welcome to the H.4.0.S Galactic Battle. We're still here in the group stage, but we are nearing the end of the group stage to determine who makes it onto the playoffs, who will advance on. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Solaris. We have our blue Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Snoxtar. Going for a 12 pool. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish legend. He retired back in 2014. The yellow Protoss player representing himself. It is Pal. Here we go. Probe Scout coming in. Pal, he remembers to Probe Scout, of course. That has not fallen by the wayside in the years of being away from the game. He does confirm the early pool. It is going to be a 12 pool opener at a Snoxtar. Now, this is what we spoke about earlier. Earlier, we cast a Snoxtar versus Mishu, and we really saw standard play. We saw a bit of an all-in on Alki on it, but we didn't mention at the time. I did mention at the time that Snoxtar is known for being hyper-aggressive and very cheesy in general. Wasn't too cheesy against Mishu, but that's coming out here. Oh god, this round! Trading 1 for 1. 1 drone for 1 probe. Not a bad trade for Pal, to be honest, because we have very limited economy, very limited workers available here to Snoxtar. Lings are on the way. We have a hatchery behind this. This is not an all-in. This is an aggressive opener, that is true, but we are expanding behind it. Meanwhile, across the map, Pal responding with a Gate Forge. Forge is on the way. Cannon already in production. And we will soon be able to wall off. We will be perfectly safe and sound against the 12 pool. We should be able to expand behind this and get into a longer game. We should be able to progress. So again, the openers are going to be bouncing off each other when we do fully wall off. And from this opener, Pal will have quite an advantage. It's a bit of a give and take. On the one hand, Pal does have the higher worker count. He has a better economy compared to his opponent, but his expansion is delayed. His expansion is very delayed here because of the Forge response. Now, this response is a very unique one. Typically, against a 12 pool, you would open up double gate, you'd open up with the second gateway and the cyber core. You would defend with a probe initially until the zealot comes out. You'd be on hold position, you'd wall off, and then you would hold as we do overextend with the zealots. The Lings are coming first round, but the cannon is up and running. We do force this back. Again, this Forge response is a more drastic and a more committed response. Because of that, Pal isn't in as good of a position as he otherwise would because this expansion is so heavily delayed. Meanwhile, my eyes are on this probe. This probe did escape, was spotted by the Overlord. Big scout here from Snoxtar. He's aware. He should be aware of the probe positioning. And we are going for a scout. Okay, we're not going for a proxy. We have a Stargate behind this. Still a very delayed expansion for Pal. And he's just now confirming that this is not an all-in, that we have expanded, that we have been droning. So Snoxtar is catching up and taking a lead in the economy, but just because of how late this expansion is, again, Pal, his reaction was a little bit of an overreaction here at the natural. I'm sure was assuming that his opponent was maybe going all in, and as a result, Snoxtar, in the midst of all this chaos, takes a worker lead. He's able to drone up even further from here. It's not a bad position out of Snoxtar. Meanwhile, Stargate is done. We should be getting into an Oracle. We'll see what our unit of choice is going to be as the Overlord dives into the main base, and we do get eyes on the tech of choice and the starting unit as well. Snoxtar is aware of the Oracle opener. He is aware Adept's going to be shading across the map. They're going to be threatening a worker. One worker does go down, but only a single drone for the time being, and the third base has been spotted. Pal is aware. Now, we did feature Pal earlier in the FFA. We are aware that his control isn't too bad. He was able to get into Blink Stalkers, able to make it quite far in the FFA overall, and we do not commit to the shade. Nice cancel there out of Pal. He's going to be backing off. He's going to be retreating back home, getting into his Oracle production. Meanwhile, Snoxtar getting supply blocked for a moment there after losing one of his overlords. Oracle zooms across the map. Link's trying to catch the Adepts if at all possible and delay the third base. By this point, we should be thinking about taking the third. But no, before we take the third base, we tech up. That is a very fast Twilight Council. Very fast Twilight Council here out of PAL. Now, if this was any other player, I would assume that this is going to be Glaive Adepts. But remember, PAL hasn't been competing in a very long time, in many years. So I don't know what kind of direction he wants to take this in. We saw him flex his Blink Stalker control earlier. He could even try to go for a 2-base Blink all in. Very out of meta, but would be what PAL is comfortable with. As the Oracle is forced out of the main base, second Oracle on the way. And it is Glaive Adepts. Let's go. It's going to be a very committed Glaive Adept follow-up here. We'll see if we commit with a Robo. For now, second gateway, third gateway on the way. It's going to be 4 gate Glaives in total, but the Overlord is coming back in for a scout, and we will confirm the faster tech. Snoxtar, he sees the lack of third base, confirms the tech, confirms the production, and Roaches are on the way. Good reaction so far out of Snoxtar. He's going to be working towards Roach production. Lings, they catch a Stalker. Catch a Stalker, they catch an Adept as well. Roach production commencing already a little bit soon, is what I will say. We can drone a little bit further. For now, Roaches are in production. Oracles, they threaten the third base. Queens are in position. Likewise, Spore ready in the main as well as we get 2 more workers. PAL is forced out. Oh, the Queens! Big catch there from Snoxtar. Does get on top of the Oracle. At the same time, we have a proxy across the map, but we get found out. The gateway has been found. We shut down the probe. We shut down the gateway. The pylon will fall. Can we warp in time? We can. We warp in 1 Zealot and 1 Adept, but we depower the 4th gateway. That means only 3 gateways are up and running. And we take a third. We're taking a third base. Adepts are moving out. There's no Robo. We cannot reinforce across the map. That was the purpose of this gateway because there is no Robo. But alas, this is going to be significantly weaker for PAL. What you see is what you get. Reinforcing is going to be so difficult. Oracles are coming out. Adepts say shade into the main. We're going for the mineral line. We're going for the drones. Cool. We do get 1 worker, 2 workers here in the main. We're going to get a couple more. We're going to try to focus down whatever drones we can, but we're being forced back. Again, there were plenty of Roaches done in time. Adepts say shade to the third base. We're getting some more worker kills. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drones. Not bad. Pretty good trade here from PAL. And with that, PAL takes a probe lead. So very nicely done here. Towards the end, able to help him help this kind of opener, this aggression pay for itself. Behind this, we have a wall of cannons, wall of shield batteries. Blink is on the way. +1. And a Robo production. PAL looking to get into a bit of a longer game. The problem is, even though Snoxtar has lost a lot of workers and he loses even more drones, oh my god, getting another 3 worker kills. But the army is what's concerning. We have a massive wave of Roaches and Lings. We have +1 range on the way, +1 melee on the way. We have a Bailey Nest as well. Snoxtar is going for a counterattack, and PAL, what do we have at home to defend? We are heavily reliant on the site defense. We have stasis traps. We can defend if the stars align. We have 3 stasis traps. 1, oh, doesn't get baited out. Just barely. The Immortal! The Immortal is exposed. We dive on top of it. We get 3 volleys off, and the Immortal does go down. Ooh, big stasis trap, though. And Snoxtar is going to be forced back, but getting 1 Immortal is a good start. Does reset the Immortal count. Additional gateways on the way behind this. Snoxtar behind this is also droning. He's just saturating his bases, getting up to 3-way saturation, and working on his 4th hatchery. Oh, can we deny no shield battery? No shield battery. We could deny +1, but no, we go for the Stalkers instead. And we will back off. We will retreat. We will respect the Stalker count of PAL. Another Roach gets picked off. It's a good cleanup there from PAL. Does end up saving +1. And here we go. 2nd Robo is on the way. So he's working up towards double Immortal production. We got Stalkers amassing as well here at the 3rd base location. PAL, he is building up, and he has successfully held on to his 3rd. He did lose an Immortal, that is true, but he maintains his economy. That's what's important. You know, across the map, Snoxtar going to be droning up to 65. That is 3-way. Oh, that is 3-way saturation as the Oracle does overextend. Oracle goes down. We do get eyes on the 4th at least, but Snoxtar, he's cutting workers at 3 base saturation, and he is maxing out on Lingbane Roach Ravager. 1-1 is done. We have +2 range on the way, Bailing speed as well. This push is going to hit like a truck, and can PAL survive it? Stasis traps are still barely up and running. Depending on the stasis traps, we could hold. Bailings rolling in, up, and we get a big connection, a big stasis here on the Bailings. Most Bailings are caught, which means we can hold. The Bailings, they crash into the Stalkers of all things. Biles connect as well, but we have the overcharge. We keep the Stalkers alive. We dive on top of the Roaches, and without Lingbane, these Roaches looking very vulnerable. Very vulnerable with their about to run out. Oh, Stasis Trap is about to run out. Lings, they do get broken free, and the Bailings, they roll into the army. That's still a lot of Bailings. The force fields are pretty good. Oh my cow. Very nice force fields, but the Immortals, they're exposed at 1. 2 Immortals go down. We're running out of energy here on the shield batteries. PAL will hold. He will survive. But that was a costly trade. He lost 8 workers and 2 Immortals in the process. That trade wasn't without its losses. Behind this Snoxtar, he's remaxing. He's squeezing out a handful of drones. We have 3 more workers on the way, but we're still remaxing on Roaches, on Lings, on Bailings. Snoxtar is getting ready for the second wave, for the second push. And this time, PAL will not have Immortals. He had 2, now he has 0, and he just now restarts his Immortal production as a late Immortal. It's not going to be ready. It's not going to be ready in time. Bailings, they do roll in. And oh god! Bit of friendly fire, but the Bailings, they do get into the mineral line. They crash on in, and every single worker is going to be going down. We have broken the economy. And the goal here was to break the third, and we will. More Bailings in production. Yeah, there's just not enough on the ground. Not enough Stalkers. Not enough Immortals. GG gets called. PAL had an impressive performance here, but Snoxtar will snowball out of control. GG, well played. Does take game number 1. And what a game 1 as well. There were layers here to this game. Snoxtar initially opening up with the 12 pool. Didn't quite achieve too much damage with it, but did force an overreaction. Again, PAL, his natural was very delayed, and likewise, he delayed his 3rd base as well in favor of Glaive Adepts. The Adepts, they did damage, don't get me wrong, and likewise, we were able to defend quite well against the first attack, but the Immortal count was stifled time and time again, was knocked down, and we weren't quite able to really build up a solid army. As a result, we were just stuck at home. And Snoxtar, not just that, was even able to shut down the production. Remember, the Glaive Adept aggression was meant to be even stronger. We were meant to be able to reinforce across the map with a 4th gateway, but the gateway was scattered, the proxy was shut down, and PAL never really got into his game plan. Never got to his end game of 4 gate Glaive Adepts. Was stopped before we could really get going. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting ready for game number 2, but I'm impressed. I'm still impressed by how PAL did perform despite his inactivity. Didn't look too bad. Did not look too bad whatsoever. As I'm just checking, yeah, before this, PAL, he last did compete back in oh, my apologies. I thought he had left his team in 2014. And yeah, he was very sporadic thereafter. He played once. He played in 1 event in 2015. He played in like 2 events in 2016. 1 event 2015, 1 event 2016, like 1 event in 2017 as well. So he was semi-active in the years preceding, and then he disappeared. Disappeared for many years after 2017. Good to see him back. And hey, again, not looking too bad. Despite his long hiatus, but here we go. We're getting ready for game number 2. Game número 2. Oh boy. As we load in to Oceanborn. Oceanborn going to be our map of choice here. Catching up. Oh, I forgot about Happy. Ah, I see Happy. I'm looking at some of these older matches. See Tefl. See Senin. See a lot of Nurture. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Polish Zerg player. Currently leading this series 1-0, representing his new team, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Snoxtar. Going for a 15-15. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player, the yellow Protoss. It is Pal. The legend himself again. He has been retired for a very long time, has been inactive for a very long time, for many, many years. And now he is making his return in this regional event. And we are going for what looks to be a cannon rush. Okay. This is unfortunate for Pal. Oh boy, as we're doubling down, we're going for the proxy forge and gateway here in the face of Snoxtar. Oh, papi. Okay, so on the one hand, it's a 15-15. What this means is this is an earlier hatchery than normal, this is an earlier spawning pool than normal, and a delayed gas geyser. This means that we have faster access to queens and faster access to lings than we would normally. Drone comes down, we do scout the proxy, we confirm the cannon rush, and again, Snoxtar will have access to faster units in general here. Boys are being pulled, and we have to try to slow this down as best as we can while we wait for the spawning pool to finish. Drones, they get on top of the cannons, and this first cannon is going to be cancelled. Looks like the second cannon is going to be cancelled as well. We get so much surface area on them. These are not ideal positions. Yeah, we will be cancelling every single cannon here. We have 2 more cannons on the way, but the spawning pool is done earlier than normal. Spine Crawler is on the way. We force another and another cancel here. Lings are in production. We do have a Zealot. Oh, good control here. The Snoxtar does pull away those weakened drones. Very nice. That's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel on the cannon. We do lose one of those drones as well, but a miscontrol out of Snoxtar. Lings are coming up, but they do trickle in a little bit prematurely. We have to hold on to that Spine Crawler, though. Spine Crawler has to be held. As we come in from behind, the Lings, they do wrap around. We shut down the Zealot. We shut down the cannons. GG gets called, and Snoxtar will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. An unfortunate matchup, an unfortunate tournament events for Pal. He just happened to be going up against a pretty safe opener. Again, the 15-15, faster hatchery, faster spawning pool means faster lings, and Snoxtar just completely shut it down, looking very comfortable and very confident in his defense. Even had some slick micro towards the end when it came to pulling away those workers. Big shout out to Pal. There was a lot of potential with that. If only it was a standard opener, if only it was a hatch gas pool, we could have seen a little bit more success. But was a little bit unlucky with the build orders overall. GG. GG, well played. Shout out to Pal, of course, for competing here, but I believe that is going to be Pal eliminated from the tournament. Is going to be eliminated from the tournament here. Didn't have a bad showing, was even able to have some fun and flex in the FFA earlier, but alas, does meet his end at the hand of Snoxtar. And with that, the groups are wrapping up. It looks like we have Group B already completely wrapped up. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back of yourselves. In the end, Aristory 2-0'd Paranoid. Aristory! Oh my, this is, I would say, a little bit of an upset. Aristory 2-0'd Rodzin. I was favoring Geralt and Rodzin in Group B. Rodzin gets eliminated and Aristory advances on instead. GG, a big win there for Aristory. He will be advancing out of Group B in second place. Meanwhile, we have a Laser also advancing out of Group A in first place as well. To be expected, Laser is the favorite player in his group. The other groups are still wrapping up. They're still ongoing. We are going to be going on a short break. Here, and when we return, we will have our next matchup. I believe it's going to be the Legends map of Group C. We're going to be focusing our attention over on Group C instead, which means up next, oh my god, it's going to be Spirit versus Nurtio. Spirit, of course, is the favorite player in his group. Nurtio is another StarCraft legend, not just a Polish legend, but if you're an old school viewer of the chat, an old school fan of StarCraft, Nurtio should be a name that you know and should be a name that you remember. He was one of the best players outside of Korea for a long time. He was one of the best players in the foreign scene. He was dubbed a foreign hope for quite some time there. Back when he was, of course, representing Red Bull, he was up there along the likes of Snoot, of Scarlet. They would all go back and forth in the foreign scene, and yeah, he definitely made a name for himself. He was definitely a titan and a force to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, Nurture did retire in early Legacy of the Void. His kind of era of dominance was end and middle of Heart of the Swarm. That was kind of 2014, 2015, leading into 2016. But again, Nurture, he did step away. Oh wait, my apologies. I was gonna say Nurture stepped away in 2016. My apologies. It was a little bit later on than that. It was 2019, my apologies. 2019 for Nurture, which is still pre-COVID. And COVID was around the era when a lot of these other players rose up, players like Christiana, players like Geralt, these more newer faces in the scene, in the European scene, all rose from the ashes of Nurture when he kind of stepped away. So my apologies, mid Legacy of the Void, not early Legacy of the Void. But yeah, mid Legacy of the Void. When I was thinking of early Legacy of the Void, I was thinking of Team Acer, which is when he left that team. So yeah, it's been quite some time. Here that he has kind of been retired, but it's cool to see Nurture back. Cool to see him back. How does he compare to his previous form? The reality is that Nurture, he is back, but he's not back competing. He's just back for these regional events. You know, he popped in for some of the previous house events, and you can see them setting up on cams. Oh, let's go. Nurture is not like full on practicing anymore. He's not coming back to like, you know, proper pro gamer play. He's back just for the community, just for fun, just to be a part of the Polish scene once again. And we'll see what he's looking like compared to the best Terran in Poland, rocking his Navi jersey. We'll see you soon. Going to be going in a short break.